Space, the final frontier. But what really makes Star Trek feel like Star Trek? Whether it's the original series, the movies, or the latest streaming shows, some things never change. These are the elements that make Star Trek iconic. Let's break them down. It always starts with a log entry.
Captain's log, stardate 9529.1. This is the final cruise of the Starship Enterprise under my command.
From the very beginning, this has been the perfect way to drop viewers straight into the story. It's an instant immersion into the science fiction world of Star Trek, setting the scene and providing context. But it's more than that. It's also a window into the mind of the crew. The log isn't always from the captain. Characters like Commander Sisko, T'Pol, and Boimler have also recorded logs, reflecting on their experiences. And when the crew doesn't want to calculate an exact stardate, they just throw in a supplemental entry and call it a day. This tradition has survived every version of Star Trek because it serves as a storytelling shortcut, getting straight to the action without wasting time on exposition.
Her ongoing mission? To explore strange new worlds, to seek out new life forms and new civilizations, to boldly go where no one has gone before.
To boldly go where no one has gone before. That phrase isn't just a tagline, it's a mission statement. Whether it's Captain Kirk, Picard, Janeway, or Burnham, their journey is always centered around one of three things: exploration, discovering new planets, species, or anomalies; diplomacy, navigating tense political situations with alien civilizations; war, facing direct threats from the Klingons, the Dominion, the Borg, or other enemies. Even when an episode doesn't seem to fit these categories, it secretly does. A vacation episode often turns into an unplanned mission. A holodeck malfunction? Suddenly it's an exploration of artificial intelligence. Even the classic crew wakes up with amnesia trope falls under exploration. And let's not forget the struggle between Roddenberry's optimistic vision of the future and the need for action-driven plots. Even in a utopian world, conflict is inevitable, and that's what keeps us engaged. Transporters are as essential to Star Trek as lightsabers are to Star Wars. Whether it's a dramatic escape, a high-stakes rescue, or just a routine beam down, it always happens. Even in Enterprise, when transporters were still experimental, they couldn't resist using them. What started as a budget-saving technique, since landing the Enterprise every episode was too expensive, turned into one of the most recognized pieces of sci-fi tech in history. But transporters aren't just a convenience. They're also a plot device. Sometimes they fail, sometimes they merge two people into one, and sometimes they create evil duplicates. The enemy within. Anyone? Even in Enterprise, where transporters were still experimental, the show found ways to use them. First for cargo, then later for humans, albeit with hesitation. Because, let's be real, would you trust a machine that scrambles your atoms? A peaceful alien race? Secretly warlords? A deadly space anomaly? Probably a misunderstood life form. That friendly new crew member might be a shapeshifter. Star Trek loves ironic reveals. From the very first pilot episode, The Cage, to modern Trek series, the show constantly challenges assumptions. One of the franchise's core messages is that things aren't always what they appear to be. Klingons, once war-hungry enemies, now honorable allies. The Borg, once an unstoppable force, later partly redeemed through Seven of Nine and Hugh. Even villains like Khan and Gul Dukat are more than one-dimensional threats. They're complex, layered characters. And then there are the mind-bending plot twists. Anomalies that distort reality, species that communicate in riddles, or entire episodes that are just elaborate deceptions. If Star Trek has taught us anything, it's that expectations are meant to be shattered. Every Trek crew needs at least one non-human character to highlight what it means to be human. Spock, Data, Worf, Seven of Nine, the Doctor, T'Pol, Odo. Each of them serves a specific narrative purpose. Spock and T'Pol struggle with emotions, valuing logic over feelings. Data and the Doctor desperately want to understand what it means to be human. Worf constantly balances Klingon tradition with his Starfleet duties. Odo wrestles with his identity as a shapeshifter. And let's not forget the catchphrases. Highly illogical. I am a Klingon. Curious. These characters aren't just aliens, they're reflections of us. They allow the audience to see humanity from an outsider's perspective. Highly illogical. If you're loving this deep dive into Star Trek, hit that like button and subscribe to Prime Picks for more of the best sci-fi breakdowns. Every single episode, if there's a planet involved, we will see the ship orbiting it. It's the perfect establishing shot, setting the scale, transitioning scenes, and looking downright cool. The mission is set. But then, boom, something goes wrong? A revenge-driven villain? Check. A mysterious energy anomaly? Of course. A planet that seemed safe? You know how this goes. Whether it's a rogue AI, an ethical dilemma, or a good old-fashioned space battle, every mission has an unexpected complication. That's what keeps things exciting. Star Trek isn't about brute force, it's about strategy. Kirk outsmarts the Gorn. Picard outmaneuvers Q. Data tricks the Borg Queen. Even when battles break out, it's not about superior firepower, it's about outthinking the opponent. Star Trek isn't just about phasers and warp drives, it's about humanity, ethics, choices. Sometimes the message is clear-cut. Don't fear those who are different. Other times it's morally gray. Does the end justify the means? But every story leaves us with something to think about. Sometimes it's tragic, like Spock's sacrifice. Other times it's funny, like a Vulcan being baffled by human behavior. But it always ends with one last beat. So there you have it, 10 things that happen in every Star Trek movie or series. Did we miss any iconic Trek tropes? Let us know in the comments. And if you love Star Trek, hit that like button and subscribe to Prime Picks for more deep dives into sci-fi's greatest stories.